brushed up against his, she left it there. Told him how she felt and then they locked in a stare. They took a step back, thought about it, what should they do? Cause there's always repercussions when you're dating in school. But their lips met and reservations started to pass. Whether this was just an evening or a thing that would last, either way he wanted her and this was bad. Wanted to do things to her, it was making him crazy. Now a little crush turned into a like, and now he wants to grab her by the hair and tell her, I want to hold you close, skin pressed against me tight, lie still, close your eyes girl, so lovely it feels so right. I want to hold you close, soft breath beating hard, as I whisper in your ear, I want to f***ing tear you apart. I want to hold you close, skin pressed against me tight, lie still, close your eyes girl, so lovely it feels so right. I want to hold you close, soft breath beating hard, as I whisper in your ear, I want to f***ing tear you apart. I want to hold you close, skin pressed against me tight, lie still, close your eyes girl, so lovely it feels so right. I want to hold you close, soft breath beating hard, as I whisper in your ear, I want to f***ing tear you apart.
Yes, you guessed it, folks. Tonight, we will not be talking about the latest season of American Horror Story, Season 6.
I should leave.
Oh, yeah. And tonight, we'll actually be talking about, before we get into our real topic, why don't we start with an update on current events in the horror genre scene. So, last week, American Horror Story Season 6 premiered, and they decided to go with a Roanoke disappearance theme. So that was based off of the Roanoke colony disappearances, and they decided to do it mockumentary style. And aside from American Horror Story, coming up, we have Ash vs. the Evil Dead returning for its second season on October 9th. And Walking Dead Season 7, like, how many seasons do we even have for that?
Season 7's coming up. We got Negan, and we got Ezekiel, and we got Tiger. We got the Tiger, Harry.
And one less Walking Dead member, probably.
I'm calling it. It's Daryl. I'm calling it.
Yep, totally Daryl.
Dude, doesn't he have his own show on AMC, like Norman Reedus biking or whatever? I don't know. It's like his own show coming up.
So we have Walking Dead coming back on October 23rd, and then in movie news we have The Blair Witch Project 3.
Ooh, don't see that, guys.
Yeah, not so good. Which premiered on Friday. Thankfully, that isn't the movie we're going to be reviewing. And then we also have another destined to be terrible movie, Ouija 2. On October 21st.
Really?
Michael Bay
the origins?
sucks.
That looks pretty scary. I don't
Michael
know.
Bay, you're
yeah,
trash.
A lot of new horror movies were introduced, like Annabelle 2, like that teaser looks pretty good. And
the remake is coming. Well, not remake because it's not a TV series, but it's coming out in 2017.
And apparently, did you see Bye Bye Man?
No.
Bye Bye Man.
That sounds like a Backstreet Boys song.
It's basically like Slender Man. Like, that's basically
Slender
what it is.
Man.
But he's called the Bye Bye Man.
Oh, jeez.
It's terrible. But yeah, that's.
And then one more movie that's coming out in October. So did you ever see The Ring? You're gonna die in 7 days.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Rings, the sequel.
Like Alien, but and Aliens, but it's Ring
Yeah,
and Rings.
that's coming out on October 28th because people totally were asking for that.
Well, didn't Japan make like The Ring versus The Purge?
No, the Grudge, yeah.
Yeah,
the
the
Ring
Grudge,
versus
the
the
Grudge.
Purge. I'd see that.
Dude, I would love to see that, but I really also want to see The Ring versus The Grudge, because
The Ring versus the Grudge.
I don't know how they can pull that off. Like,
Oh, jeez
but
Louise.
I gotta see it.
And then in other Salem, Massachusetts related news, because we are the capital of Halloween of the world, we have Tony Moran, who you might recognize, played Michael Myers in the original 1978 John Carpenter movie Halloween. He'll be at Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery on Derby Street signing autographs pretty much every weekend. So if you want to get an autograph from Michael Myers,
Instead of a pen, he's gonna use the knife he killed his victims with to write on your paper. All right. So,
yeah, it comes with bloody.
yeah.
red
There's
ink.
already blood on it. You know.
Yeah, it's not real blood. He swears.
Yeah.
Tony Moran's actually, well, he's intimidating but very friendly at the same time.
Yeah,
I did
they're
meet
all-
him. Of course, I took a selfie with him. I'll post that on my Facebook page. And then if you're into theater, the Lynn Arts After Hours Theater Company is putting on a production of Silence the Musical, which is based off of Silence of the Lambs. So I guess
I don't know how they're gonna pull it off.
somebody was like, we're going to make Silence of the Lambs into a musical.
That sounds impossible, but I really want to see it.
They did it in New York. Like, it was an off-Broadway production that lasted for a year or two. Kelly Ripa, do you know who that is?
Why does that name ring a bell?
Like Regis and Kelly live. It's like a talk show. She praised the show, so they're putting it on in Lynn, and I have tickets to it. And I'm super pumped because I've seen shows at this theater before. They did Evil Dead the Musical 2 years in a row. They always do horror movie musicals every single year, and they're phenomenal. They did Cannibal the Musical, which was produced by Matt and Trey Parker, who you know from South Park and Book of Mormon. Yeah.
Book of Mormon.
So they did that, and then last year they did Texas Chainsaw Musical.
I never heard of these musicals, dude. I mean, what's next? Like,
Oh my god. I'm super pumped though to see Silence of the Musical, and if any of y'all from this production are listening, I'd love to have you on our show. So
Yeah,
I'd love
same.
to get in touch. So we're gonna talk about our topic, the real topic for tonight, but after these
Dang
songs. So yeah, here we go.
I had a joke, dude.
Takes to the sky like a bird in flight, and who will be her love? You're listening to WMWM Salem 91.7. We will continue our eclectic mix after this message.
This part of our broadcast day was made possible by a grant from the Salem State Clipper Card. Your Salem State Clipper Card acts as a prepaid debit card at select locations. For all the latest info about your Clipper Card, including where to use it off campus, visit them on the web at salemstate.edu and search for Clipper Card. Or stop by their office at the Student Navigation Center at Central Campus. Remember, you can manage your Clipper Card online 24 hours a day by visiting salemstate.edu/get and sign in using your Navigator login information. The Salem State Clipper Card, your passport to campus and beyond.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. I can't stand no running around. I can't stand no putting me down. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Oh, yeah. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying. Oh, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you anyhow. I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine.
And we're back. I'm your DJ Harry Slaughter, and
I'm his
here's
co-host, Tall the Giant.
So we're back, and we're gonna talk about our mystery topic in 10 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
So
God. Okay.
I saw a movie on Friday, and Tall, you also saw the same movie on
Harry,
Friday.
Don't breathe, all right? There's,
Yeah, we totally saw the Blair Witch Project.
yeah.
No, we
I'm
didn't.
sorry to tell you guys.
We saw Don't Breathe. Yeah, this movie, it came out 3 weeks ago, but last week was the first time I saw it, and I'm gonna say my opinions. We're gonna talk about our opinions after, but I want to talk about what this movie is about first.
Yeah.
So, Don't Breathe is about 3 delinquents who attempt to rob a blind man, and this blind man turns out to be a combat-trained war vet who also has a sinister past. And then it's also directed by Fede Alvarez and starring Jane Levy, who was in Evil Dead, the 2013 remake, and Fede Alvarez also directed that. So, yeah, Don't Breathe. It came out on August 26th. So, yeah, that's roughly a month ago.
Yeah, we were a little late watching it, but we watched it finally. Everybody was talking about it online, saying how great it was, so we had to go see it.
Oh, yeah.
However, we saw it in two different environments. Harry saw it in the theater, and me, I'm pretty lazy. I just went on the computer and like torrented it. But don't tell the cops. Okay. Anyway, so Harry, what was your experience like actually watching it in a theater?
Oh, I'm glad I saw it in theater, although it was something I could have also waited to see on DVD. It was definitely an interesting movie. It reminded me a lot of Alfred Hitchcock, like
I can sense that, yeah.
Rear Window. Like, have you ever seen that movie?
No. But
have you seen Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf?
Hannah, he said Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, sorry, Hannah. I said the trigger word.
I'm not going to hear the end of this tonight.
So basically, this trope is bad next door neighbor or bad neighbor who has something hidden that shouldn't be. So in Rear Window, basically there's this guy who's incapacitated in a wheelchair, and he looks out his window and he sees what appears to be his next door neighbor dumping a body or burying a body, and he's trying to figure out this mystery. But what Don't Breathe does, it kind of switches, so the killer is actually the disabled guy, and the main characters are the ones who are able, and that's really interesting. It was somewhat Hitchcockian, but basically what ends up happening in this movie, and we're going to get into it in a little bit of detail, so if you haven't seen this movie and you really want to, there's some major spoilers coming up. So you have three characters, Rocky, Alex, and a guy, Money.
Money.
It's all about the money. Ew.
Okay, let's start singing.
Yeah, so basically the opening scene, they are robbing rich people's houses and stealing like watches and TVs and things. Ooh, someone's on the air. Anyways, I'm going to pick that call up soon. And
then they also pee on people's rugs or whatever. Like,
that was so weird. So basically, they break into rich people's houses, and at first you're like, okay, these are just juvenile delinquents. They're doing a pretty crappy thing. They're like, they're breaking into houses.
Yeah, they're dorks.
And then it cuts to a scene with Jane Levy, and she's in this really dumpy house.
Yeah, and her mom hates her because she blames her for, spoiler alert, her dad leaving.
And ruining her career. Like very...
okay, this phone call is driving me insane.
Yeah. But basically...
It.
Well, we're going to answer that later after they stop call. Yeah, we're going to answer in a second.
Call
but
commercial.
Basically, whoever's calling, call back on the commercial. So, basically, this movie... So, once you see Jane Levy's home life, she's living with this her mom, who's really awful, and her boyfriend, who has a swastika tattoo. Like, that's something you don't pick up at first watching the movie.
Really?
So, really sketchy home environment. And her little sister, who's wearing a cast. Now, you don't know why she's wearing the cast, but you kind of assume that she's a victim of abuse. And so you do sort of sympathize with this character, and you're like, okay, we get why she does these things. But then her friend Money comes by, and he's like, hey, we're going to go rob a blind man.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm kind of conflicted here. Like, moral dilemma. Like, in one sense, this girl is stealing from blind people, but on the other hand, she does have a really crappy home life.
Yeah.
But then, once they do rob the blind man, you learn some not so nice things. And one of the things I like about this movie is that it has this message: don't underestimate people, especially people
who are blind.
Yeah, like, don't underestimate.
Yeah.
And that's something these characters do. And one of the things you see with the main characters, they're robbing and committing these crimes in broad daylight. It's like, how stupid can you be?
Didn't you see Home Alone 3?
Yeah.
See Home Alone 3?
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's at work at broad daylight.
But I think that's one of the points this movie's trying to make. So, like, they are, trying to show that just because you're blind doesn't mean you cannot kick butt.
Oh yeah, we didn't explain like the reason they're robbing the rich people is because they all want to move to Cali. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she wants to help her sister escape, which is really nice.
It's really nice for those like 5 minutes, and then everything is all killing and horror and
yeah.
healing.
That is kind of horrifying.
Yeah. Well, did you have people in like the cinema? There was like, like you hear.
No,
like,
it was just me and Matt, my friend Matt.
You
It
were
was
only
just
two?
us. Yeah, we were the only ones, and
Wow,
I kind of like that.
That's pretty sad. Because you know what? I really like horror movies when I'm surrounded with a lot of other people because you get to hear their reactions.
Yeah.
And that's how I can basically judge if the horror movie is good or not.
I definitely was creeped out at some moments, and like I want to talk a little bit more about what happens once they break into the house. They think, oh, this is going to be so easy. The guy's blind. Like, we're going to totally get this score, and they're trying to steal a sum of money that this guy won in a court case because his daughter was killed. Spoiler alert. And they go upstairs. They like try to gas him. It doesn't work. So as they're trying to break in to this like basement, they think the money's in the basement because it has this really heavy lock on it. The old man comes down and things go crazy. He grabs a gun, he shoots one of them, and they're running, and he's like chasing after them, punching walls, and like your heart's pumping. And the thing this movie does well, everything in light. It's bright. But the old man, like, it's not until halfway through the movie the characters find themselves in the dark, and there's this one really cool line that the old man says, "Now you're gonna see what I see." Pun intended. But basically this old man, he's combat trained, and he's like beating the crap out of them. Like they're just trying to survive.
We all thought he died. Or she died. I'm not gonna spoil it, but
oh man,
they came back.
Yeah, like it was really that. Once they get into the basement, the two remaining robbers, they find that the old man has actually stashed this girl in his basement.
Yeah, she's all like tied up and everything.
She's the one who ran over his daughter, and he's forcing her to have his kid.
Yeah, he believes that, oh, she killed my kid, so I'm going to get my kid back by impregnating her. But maybe we should explain later how he does that.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Save it for
That's going to be
best,
after the break.
Save the best for the last, you know.
Yeah, like, I think that's really freaky. But one thing this movie does well, you always have this moral dilemma. Like, who do you feel bad for? It's like, this man lost his daughter, but now he's holding this woman hostage.
Yeah, so you're like...
So
you don't know
can't
who
feel
you're
bad
for
either of them, really. You can't feel bad for these robbers who would do this, but also you can't feel bad for an old man who's basically a murderer.
The only person I feel bad for is that girl that was held captive there because I don't think she wanted to be there in the first place.
Yeah,
I don't think she meant to hit the daughter.
So we're going to play some more tunes, and we're going to return after this commercial break. Yeah. Call back, buddy.
You're listening to WMWM 91.7 in Salem.
Hey, parents of children with asthma, here's another hit from the Breathe Easies.
Come on and clean up the mold. Whoa. Clean up the mold. Whoa. Mold can trigger asthma in kids young and old. Come on and clean up the mold. Whoa. Clean up the mold in your house. Whoa.
This song may be fun, but childhood asthma is not. Preventing asthma attacks can be as simple as cleaning up the mold and mildew in your house. For more Breathe Easy tips to help stop asthma attacks, go to noattacks.org, brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
said, we are all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man, we are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Shout out to Hannah Honeycomb for listening to our show.
And Sean Provolone. And who was the caller, during
Whoever that was.
I just want to say he wanted to talk about Don't Breathe. He wanted to mention that the sound design was amazing, but Harry and I agreed that we didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sean Provolone. But back to the case.
I want to though. So thank you, Hannah, for listening. Here's a song that goes out to you. Tal, please don't hate me for this.
You're walking in the woods. There's no one around and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot him. He's following you, about 30 feet back. He gets down on all fours and breaks into a sprint. He's gaining on you.
Shia LaBeouf.
You're looking for your car, but you're all turned around. He's almost upon you now, and you can see there's blood on his face. My God, there's blood everywhere.
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife, it's Shia LaBeouf. Lurking in the shadows. Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf. Living in the woods, Shia LaBeouf. Killing for sport, Shia LaBeouf. Eating all the bodies. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Now it's dark, and you seem to have lost him. But you're hopelessly lost yourself. Stranded with a murderer. You creep silently through the underbrush. Aha! In the distance, a small cottage with a light on. Hope. You move stealthily toward it, but your leg! Ah! It's caught in a bear trap!
Gnawing off your leg. Limping to the cottage. Now you're on the doorstep. Sitting inside, Shia LaBeouf. Sharpening an axe, Shia LaBeouf. But he doesn't hear you enter, Shia LaBeouf. You're sneaking up behind him. Strangling superstar Shia LaBeouf. Fighting for your life with Shia LaBeouf. Wrestling a knife for Shia LaBeouf. Stab it in his kidney. Safe at last from Shia LaBeouf.
You limp into the dark woods, blood oozing from your stump leg. You've beaten Shia LaBeouf.
Wait, he isn't dead. Shy surprise, there's a gun to your head and death in his eyes. But you can do jujitsu. Body slam superstar Shia LaBeouf. Legendary fight with Shia LaBeouf. Normal Tuesday night for Shia LaBeouf. You try to swing an axe at Shia LaBeouf, but blood is draining fast from your stump leg. He's dodging every swipe. He parries to the left. You counter to the right. You catch him in the neck. You're chopping off his head now. Just decapitated Shia LaBeouf.
His head topples to the floor, expressionless. You fall to your knees and catch your breath. You're finally safe from Shia LaBeouf.
You're finally safe from Shia LaBeouf. Oh,
That
man.
was loud.
If only Shia LaBeouf were in Don't Breathe. I don't know.
That'd be a success.
He played the blind guy in Don't breathe.
Just do it.
Take
my money. I'm gonna kill you.
That was weird. So let's get back to talking about Don't Breathe. So the question of the hour, was this movie good?
Let's go on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Harry,
Has an 80, 88 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm gonna check right now. I know Metacritic never goes above
I don't listen to Metacritic. I don't know. It was in the 80s.
87%.
87. Wow.
That's and I feel
that's
Metacritic
incredibly
gave it
high.
No, wait, hold on. Well, hold on.
What did Metacritic give it?
Well, actually, no. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 78. Metacritic gave it 71, and IMDb gave it basically 3 out of 4.
Okay, so that's fairly decent, actually.
I don't think that I don't agree with those.
I think it's a bit too high too.
Yeah,
actually,
I think this movie was at best a 60.
A 60, yeah,
at best, and that 60 isn't bad. 60 is just average.
Yeah, I agree with
this
that.
This movie wasn't made me want to run out of the bedroom.
But I have to admit though, the cinematography was really good, and the acting was also believable, and it didn't seem flat. The
movie was
you watch
too
a lot
short.
of horror movies, and there are all these jump scares, and this movie wasn't concerned about that. And what I liked, you have the directors; they have this perfect mix of dark and light throughout the whole movie, and it really screws with your perception too. And I think that's something the movie does well.
Yeah, I feel like maybe people they came into this movie thinking, oh, it's a horror movie, but it's really something different.
Yeah,
and I mean, watching it on my computer was kind of bad because it's being taped by some guy in Russia, and when they mess with the light and the dark in that film, it really screwed it up.
Yeah,
for, on a video camera. But that is it's a cool mix into the movie. But I still don't think this movie really this movie's good. But this is not a movie that people would be talking for ages. This is a movie that people would be like, yo, I have nothing to watch. Hey, let's watch Don't Breathe. The great cinematic horror movie that came out in 2016. This movie's a movie, just like other movies as well.
And one thing that just annoyed me, and my friend who saw this movie was greatly annoyed by this. These kids are the dumbest. I mean, they're 20.
Know.
They're so dumb. They're robbing this guy's house, and they're banging on the door. They're taking a crowbar and locking the closet, and they're pretty much stomping when they're walking in, and they leave their shoes in the living room. So when the old man comes, he knows exactly how many people are in his house because he's blind, not
didn't they
deaf.
think they drugged him? Didn't they thought he was passed out?
They put a bottle of chemicals in his room, gas, and he didn't take it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's my friend's biggest complaint was this movie's pretty improbable. There's no way for these people to escape. It's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And I get it's a 2-hour movie. You have to make it last. But at one point, it kind of becomes ridiculous. It's okay.
There's some problems I have with this movie. First off, this guy isn't really blind. It's fake. There's some scenes that, I don't really know if blind people could actually get to that point. And people would be like, oh, he's an army vet, so of course he would be there because he's been trained.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. How did the scene when Rocky was getting attacked by that dog in the car, and how did he know where the car was? Seriously.
Yeah.
How did he get from his house
how did he
the way
climb over
across
a
the field?
fence?
Exactly. He's blind. He's not supposed to do that. And that's what really ticked me off. And then he's handcuffed. How did he escape those handcuffs and know where to shoot exactly at Alex's head? Like, are you serious, people? This guy is blind. He is not 2020. Like, seriously.
Oh my goodness.
Those are some. I mean, I don't know if you would call them minor flaws, but that's what really bugged me.
Definitely would. So when we return, I want to talk about one of the most screwed up scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Oh, nightmare-inducing. So here are a couple of announcements. Stay tuned.
You're listening to WMWM Salem, the official broadcast outlet of Salem State University.
Ah, dairy goodness.
And we'll be back with more tunage after this quick break.
Want to have a rockin' Monday morning? Tune in to Sean Square, 9 to 11 on 91.7 WMWM.
Make sure you tune in to my buddy Sean Provolone's show on Mondays at 8 in the morning. Sean Squared, or
Harry,
now formerly known Sean.
You just said provolone.
I know.
Yeah, man, it's going around. And by the way, I really want to say we're really sad that Sean McCardle, Sean's co-host, left the show. He's doing really well at UMass Amherst, I just want to, I know Sean Provolone, you're listening to this, but here's a recommendation for your show. Sean, Square Root of Sean.
Shaun of the Dead.
Either one of those two.
Yeah,
they're both perfect.
Go with either of them.
Math or music, but your choice, dude. But recommendations.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about one of the most disturbing. Oh, this just gave me shudders.
Get ready for Thanksgiving, guys.
This did scare me when I was watching. Oh no! I can't believe you just introduced it like that.
Go.
So, in Don't Breathe, the old man shoots his hostage accidentally, and he freaks out because he was forcing that poor woman to have his child. So what he does is he knocks out Rocky, and he ties her up, and she wakes up, and he has a beaker full of man juice. That's the word I'm going to use.
Mm-hmm.
And a turkey baster, and he's like, "You killed my child. Now you're gonna have another. I'll let you go after 8 months or 9, whatever it takes."
God, there is no God.
And he's coming at her with the turkey baster full of milk, and it's like, oh no. And then all of a sudden, Rocky's friend Alex just comes out of nowhere, knocks the old guy out, and ties her, and she grabs the turkey baster and shoves it in his mouth, and I'm just gagging at that point.
Yeah, that went all the way. That was
no.
Deep Throat, if you could define it.
That was so deep. The deepest scene of the movie.
But I would like to know how the media would probably take it if he actually was gonna violate her instead of using the turkey baster.
That's the thing he said. He's like, "Oh, I never violated a woman, but
I'm not a rapist."
Yeah, and it's still kind of, that does count as rape in a lot of states.
Yeah, but
so
I don't know.
And that was part of okay, at that point I was like, I really can't feel bad for this man. It's like, okay, we get why he's holding this girl hostage. It's a deranged. This guy's been through a lot, but then the moment he tries to baste Jane Levy, I'm like, oh, nope. And then when she based him, I was like, yeah, he got a taste of his own medicine.
Well,
literally.
I think it would have been cooler, or a little bit I don't know, maybe you wouldn't have liked it, but if he got a little bit in her, and and then there's
shudders.
and then there's room for a sequel, Don't Breathe 2, where it's their baby's the killer.
Here's the thing about that, though. There have been movies that have had rape scenes in them, and this is a very sensitive topic for those of you listening out there, but I'm going to talk about it anyways because it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about. There are movies like I Spit on Your Grave and Silent Night, Deadly Night that feature these types of scenes, but they focus more on the violence and not the sympathetic aspects of the victim. Like, they don't really they don't portray these things in a way that's appropriate. That's how I have to say. And rape is a very disgusting thing,
Yeah, it's
but they
terrible.
make it look like they don't make it as dark as they should. I don't know, like, how to really describe. I don't think having that in this movie would have.
Well, rape is a very touchy subject.
Yeah.
And I feel like if somebody was going to try to portray how it was, they have to first off
You
do
want
it
to
really
do it
well
with
done.
sensitivity, and
Well-
that's what horror movies don't do.
Yeah, I mean, because horror movies, it's basically like, it's kind of goofy. You know, horror movies are just kind of dumb and goofy and just something people would like to go out and watch. They're not really something like politically like concerning or, ooh, it makes me evaluate my life. They're just a form of entertainment.
Although, I will say, though, horror movies were some of the first movies to feature women in hero roles.
Yeah,
so they
like
were
Alien.
pretty progressive, but in terms of sexual assault, horror movies don't. It's just like too over the top, or they don't bring enough awareness, or it's just like making a joke even out of these horrible, disgusting acts. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that in Don't Breathe. It's like, what's the word? Oh my God, Ryan Murphy does it all the time. Exploiting. That's it.
Exploiting.
They're like, when you have these scenes in horror movies, it's very exploitive, if that's even a word, of this horrible thing. So we're gonna move on from that, though. So what would you rate this movie? So overall,
I gave it, like, are we doing it like out of 5, out of 10? Out of 5, I give it a 3.5.
I give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm being a little bit generous, but I have to say horror movies today aren't so good, and this was actually like rare to see.
Decent?
Like, a rare decent one. Like, the last probably good horror movie I would have to say is The Conjuring.
I really like The Conjuring too. We'll have to review that.
I
too.
did not see that. I really want to
man.
though.
Your Next was also a good one. It Follows, like those are movies. It Follows actually handled assault, like that issue, quite well. It was very sensitive.
What was
about that?
What was the one that you made me watch, and I didn't like it? It was like a indie film, like a college film. This guy's trying to inherit all the money from his family at the very end.
That's Your Next.
That was bad. Dude, don't say that it's a good film. That was bad.
Oh,
dude.
I really liked it. We've already done a review for that, but basically, Don't Breathe.
Oh yeah.
If you like Fede Alvarez, if you liked Evil Dead, if you like Jane Levy like I do, I would check this movie out because it's pretty decent for horror movies now, but it's not something you're gonna watch all the time.
And the actor from Harry told me from the Goosebumps movie with Jack Black. He's in this movie too.
So I guess that's worth checking it out. But yeah, this concludes our review for tonight. We're gonna continue playing some music. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, guys, have a good night, guys.
Tune in on Monday nights from 10 to 12 p.m. Here's Life on Mars by Jessica Lange from American Horror Story.
It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair, but her mommy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go, but her friend is nowhere to be seen. Now she walks through her sunken dream to the seat with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a saddening bore, for she's lived it 10 times or more. She could spit in the eyes of fools as they ask her to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's a frigid show. mustard brow. The Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. Now the workers have struck for fame, 'cause linen's on sale again. See the mice in their million hordes, from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. Rule Britannia is out of bounds, to my mother, my dog and clown. But the film is a standing bore, 'cause I wrote it 10 times or more. It's about to be ripped again, as I ask you to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the friendliest show. Take a look at the low man
You are listening to 91.7 WMWM Salem. This is the Little Show of Horrors, and I am your DJ Harry Slaughter. For the next couple of minutes, or next 20 or so minutes, I'll be playing some more horror jams, so stick around.
I'll sit beside and watch them play. It's gonna be an awful day. I dug him up to find the core. I won't be coming home no more. And people wonder where I've gone. I work here as a leprechaun. I found horses electric. I found fire to blow. I found sugar on a stick. I found gold.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I've been on the right trip, but I must have used the wrong car. Head is in a bad place, and I wonder what it's good for. I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. My head is in a bad place, but I'm having such a good time. I've been running, trying to keep tongue up in my mind. Just got to give myself a good talking to this time. Just need a little brain salad surgery. I got to cure my insecurity. That I've been in the wrong place, but the street. See my life shaking with every who I meet. Root fried confusion if I'm making itself clear. Wonder which way do I go to get on out of here? 'Cause I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. And I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I took the right road, but it must have took the wrong train. I took the right move, but I made it at the wrong time. I've been in the right trip, but I made it in the wrong call. Headed in a good place, and I wonder what's bad for.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun. It's been the ruin of many a poor girl and God. I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My sweetheart, he's a gambler, Lord, down in New Orleans.
posing as a real singer. Life imitates art. You got that medicine I need. Don't shoot it up straight to the heart, please. I don't really wanna know what's good for me. God's dead. I said, baby, that's alright with me. No one's gonna take my soul away. I'm living like Jim Morrison, headed towards a messed up holiday. Motels, sprees, and I'm singing. Oh yeah, gives it to me. This is heaven, what I truly want. It's innocence lost. Innocence lost. When you talk, it's like a movie, and you're making me crazy. 'Cause life imitates art. If I get a little prettier, can I be your baby? You tell me life isn't that hard. No one's gonna take my soul away. I'm living like Jim Morrison, headed towards a messed up holiday. Motels, sprees, and I'm singing. Oh yeah, give it to me. This is heaven, what I truly want. It's innocence lost. Innocence lost.
More music in 60 seconds on WM.
This part of our broadcast day was made possible by a grant from the Salem State Clipper Card. Your Salem State Clipper Card acts as a prepaid debit card at select locations. For all the latest info about your Clipper Card, including where to use it off campus, visit them on the web at salemstate.edu and search for Clipper Card. Or stop by their office at the Student Navigation Center at Central Campus. Remember, you can manage your Clipper Card online 24 hours a day by visiting salemstate.edu/get and sign in using your Navigator login information. The Salem State Clipper Card, your passport to campus and beyond.
What up, everyone? This is DJ Harry Slaughter at the mic, and I hope you are having a terrifying Monday evening, because Mondays are pretty scary, am I right? And I would just like to thank you for listening to our show tonight. We know that some of you may have been a bit nervous about the mention of a certain Hollywood celebrity, but bear in mind he is gone. Now, our show is just about finished, but before we go, I would like to conclude the evening with one more song. This is a theme from a very popular 1990s show on HBO called Tales from the Crypt. And before I play that song, I'd also like to mention that another horror movie news update, Scream Queens Season 2 premieres tomorrow night on Fox at 10 p.m. So tune in for Scream Queens starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Emma Roberts. And now, here's the Tales from the Crypt theme song.
Oh